Alright guys, we are in the Fox. This is going to be my maiden voyage. I am currently in data logging, so we're just going to go down the road and see how it does. That did not go as planned. I get home and this caliper over here is smoking while I'm driving. It's got like a shake to it, and it feels like something's catching, releasing, and over here it was just smoking. So the caliper needs to be addressed. Now originally when I did the brakes on this car, that one over there had an issue where they had broke the backing plate to the brake pad. I changed out the brake pads. I thought everything was fine. It was bled. I'm assuming there's something else in there that I have to adjust. I'm going to take that caliper apart tomorrow and take a look at it. Well, the maiden voyage was not a success for two reasons. One, because the brake caliper was locked up. Second one was my fault. So my tuner did a auto control valve decay test. He just set it some crazy things to see how it would react, and it reacted how it should, so he knew the IAC was, reacting how it needed to. So he sent me a new tune based on him knowing that the IAC was reacting how it was supposed to. I thought I loaded that tune, but I just drove the car around in the IAC tune, so my auto control valve was open like 50-60%, just cruising down the road and stuff. So yeah, things was off. So I uploaded the new tune. I'm going to get that brake caliper hopefully off tomorrow and get it looked at. Hopefully it's nothing bad, but yeah, that's what it is. But as y'all seen at the beginning, I am titled, tagged, insured, all that good stuff. So we are even closer to Mustangs at Daytona. It's actually going on starting Monday, but I won't be there till Friday. But yeah, the 14th and 15th, I'm going to be there. Even if it's in the Mitsubishi, I'm going to show up. But man, I'm hoping I can get everything figured out between work and everything else with the weather, and I can drive this there. That's the goal. But it is registered, insured, good to go as far as being legal. So now I just got to figure out my end of it. Alright, so the piston goes in and out smoothly still. The only thing I could find is these pads have this like anti-noise clip on them, and the little tab ears, I don't know how well you can see that, comes over. There we go. There was a shiny spot like here and there. Now I've done sanded this one's smooth, but this one was rough, and I think it was just dragging on that, so it wasn't allowing the caliper to move freely. So I'm going to sand that down, maybe put some anti-seize or something there and go from there. Try to ignore the noise in the background, got some yard work going on. But so after I hit the brakes, it did not spin freely till a few seconds later it finally released. Now what can happen is air can get in your brake line, so air can be compressed. So you press the brakes, it pushes out the piston. Well, what pulls that piston back in is your brake fluid returning. Well, if there's a gap where there's air, it's not going to pull that piston back in. It's just going to return the air. So I'm going to bleed this one more time. Maybe I just didn't get everything out. I know I had a 3rd gen Camaro. I had to bleed the brakes like 5 times one day to get all the air out of the line. So sometimes they can be tricky. It's just like, if you look, this line comes down, over, and up. I mean, if you got one stuck up in this area and it comes down and then it wants to go back up, it could take a while to get that bled out. Alright, well, the first 2 or 3 times I opened the valve after she did the brake procedure for me, there was no air. The 3rd or 4th time we did it, a ton of air came out. I'm talking just solid crackles and bubbles and all kind of stuff. So there was some deep-rooted air still in this line. So I did it another probably 10 times after that. I even had her pump. Normally I do like 3 and hold. I had her go to 5 and hold just so we make sure we had extra pressure on there. Kept an eye on the reservoir up there, make sure it was full. And now it don't hang up after you hit the brake. So super excited about that. All right, guys, let's see how it does. Got a lot of skipping and missing. I don't know what's going on. it is a lot better. Like I said, it's just got some kind of skip or miss in it, but it's way better than it was yesterday. So maybe it's something in the tune. Maybe it's just a little spark plug wire or something. Maybe we can get this figured out. I do have extra spark plug wires laying around, so we'll see. So I just went on a quick little run to test some things. I wish I would have recorded it, but it's kind of hard doing both things with one hand, and that is shifting gears and recording while driving. Shifting gears, I have an AOD. Yeah. So I have the B&M hammer shifter, which is a ratchet. If you don't know, you go back one for neutral, it returns to its position. So back one for reverse, back again for neutral. It always returns back to the spot it was. So I wasn't thinking, I just put it in drive and go, and it hops and skips and bucks, and it really feels like, you ever started a manual car, you're trying to start off in second gear or third gear, and like that. That's how it felt. Well, I was talking with somebody, and they said, well, you have a ratchet shifter. Do you have a manual valve body? I didn't even think about that. So I talked with some friends that have run a manual valve body, and pretty much it sums up that's how it was acting. So I just went out there, shifted all the way down to first gear, drove perfect. When it got to it, you could tell the RPMs were climbing. You just bump it forward, shifts gears, bump it forward, shift. It ran perfect. So I have a manual valve body in my car. Not so happy about it because my wife wanted to drive the car, so I kind of wanted to do, I may eventually trade somebody this setup for a stock AOD with a stock shifter. I don't know. But I am pretty happy that the car is running way better, and it was just the valve body. And I was telling the tuner, it's almost like it was almost like torque converter chatter or something. It was just filling. I didn't know how to describe it because it was firing on all 8 cylinders, but it was running like it was running on 7 cylinders. So basically, the first drive was a success. I wish I had the proper suction mount and stuff where I could just drive this around one time and show y'all how it is, but the first drive was great. Y'all have seen some of the footage of me driving and some of the issues I had. The brake caliper now is not locking up. It is great. I don't know if it was just how the pad was rubbing on that spot or the fact that there was a lot of air in the line. So basically, if you don't know, air compresses. Hydraulic fluid does not. That's why it makes it hydraulic. Air is pneumatic. It compresses. So when you press the brake, the air that's in the line compresses. It'll push the cylinder out a little, but when it goes back, the air returns to its natural size, the size that it was, but it don't pull the fluid back to pull the piston in, so your piston stays out. So if you don't get all the air out of your line, you can run into issues with a sticking caliper. So I bled it, and like I said, it was probably the 4th or 5th time before I finally got air out of it, and when I did, there was a ton of air. So I'm glad I did it again. So the brakes feel great. Car is running great right now. It's only going to get better, that's for sure, because I've been doing data logs and stuff, sending it to the tuner. Licensed and tagged and insured and everything. I'm going to be driving this to work, and yeah, I'm super excited right now.
I won't turn around, I done made it this far. Look back now, that wouldn't be too smart. Shoot for the stars even when it gets hard. Put my faith in the Lord with the 16 bars. I won't turn around, I done made it this far. Look back now, that wouldn't be too smart. Shoot for the stars even when it gets hard. Put my faith in the Lord with the 16 bars. I won't turn around, I won't turn around. No matter how far I go, I'll never come